Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. Marc Marquez made a stunning debut with the factory Ducati team at the opening round of the 2025 MotoGP season at the Thai Grand Prix. The 8-time world champion delivered a flawless performance by securing pole position and dominating the sprint race at the Buriram International Circuit. However, the Spanish superstar insists that there is still more to come as he targets victory in Sunday's main race. Francesco Bagnaia faced a tough opening day at the 2025 Thai MotoGP, finishing third in the sprint race at the Buriram International Circuit. Double world champions struggled to match the pace of Marc and Alex Marquez, citing a scientific reason for his difficulties. Despite his podium finish, Bagnaia admits there's still work to be done to improve his performance in Saturday's sprints. Yamaha's debut race of the 2025 MotoGP season at the Thai Grand Prix saw mixed results, with Fabio Quartararo finishing 7th in the sprint race. The Frenchman admitted he was outpaced by new Pramac Yamaha recruit Jack Miller, suggesting Miller's aggressive riding style was the key to his superior speed. Despite inheriting top Yamaha honors after Miller's crash, Quartararo revealed he's still struggling to adapt to the new Michelin tires and Yamaha's ongoing traction issues. Jack Miller's highly anticipated Yamaha debut at the Thai Grand Prix was a roller coaster of highs and lows. The Australian impressed with a blistering qualifying performance, but saw his sprint race end in disappointment after crashing out from 6th place. Despite the setback, Miller remains optimistic as he looks to bounce back in Sunday's full-length race. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. All eyes were on Marquez as he made his highly anticipated competitive debut for the factory Ducati squad. After topping the qualifying session, Marquez lined up on pole position and lived up to expectations by leading every lap of the sprint race. The victory marked his first win since the German Grand Prix in 2021 and catapulted him to the top of the championship standings for the first time in over 5 years. Marquez crossed the finish line 1.185 seconds ahead of his younger brother, Alex Marquez, who gave Gresini Ducati a dream second-place finish. Factory Ducati teammate and Francesco Bagnaia completed the podium, finishing 3.423 seconds behind the winner. Speaking after the race, Marquez couldn't hide his satisfaction with the result but remained cautious. "It was a perfect Saturday. Pole position, sprint race victory, and my brother in second. It's hard to ask for more. But this is only Saturday, the championship is long, and tomorrow's race is the real challenge." Marquez admitted that he felt the weight of expectation heading into the weekend, especially after months of speculation about how he would adapt to the Ducati GP24. Despite his wealth of experience, the pressure still got to him. "The expectations were high, and I tried to avoid thinking about it. But in the end, something arrived. I used my experience to stay calm and focus on the job." Marquez's approach paid off, as he managed the race perfectly, maintaining a comfortable gap without taking unnecessary risks. Perhaps the most ominous sign for his rivals is that Marquez believes he still has untapped potential on the Ducati. The Spaniard revealed that he rode within himself during the sprint race, leaving some margin in key braking zones to avoid mistakes. "In 2 or 3 braking points, I had some margin. I didn't need to push at 100%. Sometimes it's better to control the race and avoid unnecessary risks." Looking ahead to the full-length Grand Prix on Sunday, Marquez identified the third sector as an area where he needs to improve. The Spaniard believes that taking more risks in this section could unlock even more speed. "I know where I'm losing time. I need to take a little more risk in Sector 3. If I find the same feeling as today, I think we can fight for the win." Saturday's result was a historic day for the Marquez brothers, who shared a MotoGP podium for the second time in their careers. Marc also credited Ducati for making his transition to the GP24 easier than expected, praising the team's support during pre-season testing. Marquez's debut with Ducati couldn't have gone much better, but the Spaniard has made it clear that he still has more performance to unleash. With his rivals already struggling to match his pace, Marquez looks like a serious title contender in 2025. Can anyone stop the 8-time world champion? All eyes now turn to Sunday's Grand Prix at Buriram. Bagnaia was one of the standout performers in the first season of MotoGP sprints in 2023, but the Ducati rider's inconsistency in half-distance races continued into 2024. The opening round of the 2025 season proved no different, with Pecco unable to challenge for victory in Saturday's sprint race at Buriram. Starting third on the grid, Bagnaia quickly lost touch with teammate Marquez and Gresini Ducati's Alex Marquez, eventually crossing the line 3.4 seconds behind the winner. Speaking after the race, the Italian admitted his frustration but pointed to a technical reason behind his struggles. Pecco explained that the smaller fuel tank mandated for sprint races under MotoGP regulations is affecting the handling of his Ducati, particularly under braking. There's a scientific reason why I'm struggling in the sprint. The only thing that changes from the long race is the fuel tank. It's smaller by regulation, and it changes the dynamics of the bike. I struggle more on corner entry. Bagnaia's braking issues were particularly evident in the early laps, preventing him from mounting a challenge against the leading duo. The Italian revealed that Ducati is working on solutions but admitted it's a problem he's been battling since the sprint format was introduced 2 seasons ago. Another factor that hampered Bagnaia's sprint performance was his decision to run the hard front tire, while both Marc and Alex opted for the softer option. The Italian made the gamble with Sunday's full-length race in mind but was surprised by the excessive tire wear during the 13-lap sprint race. I was quite surprised that I finished the hard tire before the end of the sprint. I might have to consider doing something different for tomorrow. Despite his disappointment, Bagnaia remains hopeful that the gamble will pay off in the longer race, where tire management will play a more crucial role. Bagnaia also highlighted that the fuel tank issue becomes even more pronounced when he's stuck behind other riders. The Ducati rider revealed that he's able to push harder when leading, but struggles to close gaps if he's forced to follow. When I start in front, the problem is less because I can force the braking. But if someone is in front of me, I'll be for 10 laps, 15 laps, with 1 second of gap and I can't close back. It's quite a problem, but we are trying to solve it. Despite his sprint struggles, Bagnaia remains optimistic about his chances in Sunday's Grand Prix, especially given that he overcame similar problems to win last October's rain-affected race at Buriram. The Italian will be hoping for a repeat performance to get his title defense off to a strong start. Bagnaia may have settled for third in Saturday's sprint race, but the reigning champion remains confident that he can fight for victory in Sunday's Grand Prix. With Ducati working to solve his braking issues, all eyes will be on Bagnaia to see if he can bounce back and claim his first win of the 2025 season. Jack Miller's switch to Pramac Yamaha was one of the biggest moves of the off-season, and the Australian wasted no time making his mark on Saturday at Buriram. The former Ducati rider qualified fourth, outpacing factory Yamaha rider Fabio Quartararo by 6 positions and nearly 0.3 of a second. Miller looked on course to claim the best Yamaha result in the sprint race, running as high as 6th before crashing out on lap 7. Despite the setback, his raw speed caught the attention of Quartararo, who admitted his new stablemate's aggressive riding style is helping him extract more performance from the M1. Quartararo has endured a difficult start to the season, carrying over the same issues that plagued him during preseason testing. The 2021 world champion admitted that Michelin's stiffer front and rear tires have made it difficult for him to attack from the opening lap. I'm struggling with the tires this weekend, especially with the front, but also with the rear because I'm not able to find the feeling to attack from the first lap and find the grip. That's something that even in the test I was not able to do. Quote from Quartararo. Asked what Miller is doing differently, Quartararo joked that the Australian secret is to disconnect the brain in critical corners. The Frenchman highlighted Turn 4 as a key area where Miller's aggressive approach made the biggest difference. He disconnects the brain a little bit more than us. In Turn 4, the brain was totally switched off, and a big amount of the lap time is there. It's something I really like to have someone like Jack who pushes the bike to that extra limit. Despite their contrasting styles, Quartararo sees Miller's fearlessness as a positive influence that could help him unlock more performance from the Yamaha. Quartararo's 7th-place finish was in line with his expectations, but the Frenchman admitted he felt much worse on the bike than he anticipated. High front tire pressure hampered his performance in the second half of the race, leaving him unable to attack. In terms of position, it's exactly what I expected. But I didn't expect to feel that bad because the front pressure was super high and I could not really push. From mid-race to the end, I was just suffering. Quartararo pointed to Yamaha's long-standing lack of traction as one of the main reasons behind his struggles. The M1's difficulty both on acceleration and under braking continues to hold him back, especially with his corner entry riding style. For me, we are struggling to stop with the rear, and also on the throttle it's the worst. We stop a lot with the front, and this is something we have to improve. Despite the disappointing sprint race, Quartararo remains hopeful that adjustments to tire pressure and setup will improve his pace for Sunday's full-length Grand Prix. With Miller's aggressive approach setting the benchmark, Quartararo will be looking to find the balance between controlled precision and all-out attack. Yamaha's 2025 MotoGP campaign is off to a challenging start, but Fabio Quartararo remains determined to close the gap to his rivals. With Jack Miller pushing the limits of the M1, the Frenchman will need to dig deep to unlock his own speed in Sunday's Thai Grand Prix. Jack Miller wasted no time making an impact with Pramac Yamaha, delivering a stunning qualifying performance to secure 4th on the grid, his best starting position since Valencia 2023. The Australian's lap was aided by a slipstream from Francesco Bagnaia, but Miller's raw pace proved he's already pushing the M1 to its limits. His qualifying heroics came as a welcome boost for Yamaha, with Miller outpacing factory rider Fabio Quartararo by 6 positions. Miller carried that speed into the sprint race, running as the top Yamaha in 6th place for the first half of the race. However, his aggressive approach ultimately cost him, as he ignored early warning signs from the bike before crashing out on lap 7. I was pushing hard, ignored all the warning signs the bike was giving me. Going into corner 8, I braked the same, length the same, line was the same, but she just let go. Quote from Miller. The front-end crash came as Miller was trying to close the gap to Franco Morbidelli and Ai Ogura ahead, hoping a battle between them would bring him back into contention. Miller's fearless riding style has already caught the attention of his Yamaha teammates. Fabio Quartararo praised the Australian's qualifying lap, joking that Miller must have disconnected his brain to push so hard at turn 4. Miller embraced the compliment, admitting that shutting off the brain is part of the job in qualifying. I don't think there's many guys that don't switch off the brain when you throw a bike at a corner at 300 kilometers an hour. That's what you've got to do. Despite the crash, Miller saw positives in the Yamaha's tire performance. He believes the M1's conservative rear tire wear could give him an edge in longer races, if he can stay on the bike. The Yamaha seems to be quite conservative on the rear tire, so I was hoping that I was going to have a little bit more grip than the other boys come the latter stages. But we didn't get that far. With a second-row start for Sunday's Grand Prix, Miller has a golden opportunity to turn his promising debut into points. The Australian remains confident that with a little more patience, he can fight at the sharp end of the grid. Jack Miller's Yamaha journey is off to a fiery start, full of speed, aggression, and a few mistakes. But with the Australian's fearless approach already earning him praise, all eyes will be on him to deliver a big result in Sunday's Thai Grand Prix. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. See you next time.